good he was paying attention.
Yeah, I just got a text from Pam about it.
From home.
Pam.
Yeah.
Technology.
This is what they call the awkward silence.
Good. We didn't get any of that before,
Okay.
so.
Well, we didn't really do much, so
No, introduction.
for those watching at home that couldn't hear, we called the meeting to order at 7 o'clock. We wished you Happy New Year. We welcomed you to the Select Board meeting. I introduced the board. There was no public comment, and we approved by a vote of 5-0 the approval of the Town of Exeter Select Board regular meeting minutes of December 22nd, 2025. There are no appointments and resignations, and I've introduced Mr. Stevens, our Finance Director, to discuss, or update us rather, on municipal banking.
Sure. Thank you. In your packet this evening is a letter that I penned to Citizens Bank, letting them know that as of the first of the year, we've transitioned over to TD Bank. This conversation here may seem a little cart before the horse because moving your banks, given the amount of money and complexity of our banking, you would think we'd have this conversation, but we felt that this needed to happen sort of without being public about the move, so that we maintain the security of our existing accounts through the transition. So I preface it with that. I've been working with TD for a number of years. They've helped us with originally with lease purchasing. When we go out every year to do our lease purchase bidding, we ask for several banks to give us bids. They've always been very competitive, and we've gone with them. Over the years, that's extended into advice on ways we can put our money to work. As you've all seen in my annual reports and my biannuals, we do pretty well with our money right now. And TD has been a pretty big part of that. So the relationship has grown, and they've become a trusted advisor for me and my team. And we felt about in the latter part of 2025 that it was the right time to make the move entirely over to TD for all of our funds, including our operating accounts. So in September, we started to make the move and get ready to make the transition. Probably the biggest component was getting our software to speak to the new accounts and make sure that all goes seamlessly behind the scenes. The bank was great. We had a senior vice president involved entirely up into today, making sure that our town clerk and our tax departments had scanners that could scan checks, and everything was going well, and the software was working. The money was hitting the bank. So as of today, they have the lion's share of our assets, and we look forward to working with them. As I alluded to in my investment update in December, we'll continue to be aggressive and expand what we do with our idle cash to make sure that we're using it as a source of revenue where we can responsibly. So I just wanted to give you an update and let you know what's going on. And bring up to speed. And I will be back at some point in the next month to go over the investment policy results for 2025, and then get that on that January schedule going forward for review.
Great.
That is it.
Any questions for Mr. Stevens?
Just a comment, if I could.
Please.
Walking away from a long-time relationship with a bank is never easy, but sometimes it's necessary, and it sounds like that was the case here. So thank you for your work.
Yeah, and our policy indicates that we should do that from time to time. And we've never done it. I was talking to my staff, I don't think since they were even here, gone out. I also felt like they earned our business as well, so I was good. And we let the bank know, and we've had a conversation with them, so it didn't seem like we were leaving on terribly bad terms with citizens.
Yeah, good job.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. Great. Thank you, Mr. Stevens.
You're welcome.
Excuse me. Next on our agenda, we have a proposal from Keith Whitehouse. resident here in Exeter who'd like to talk to the board about a temporary solution at Pearpoint Park. Mr. Whitehouse, thank you for coming
Mr.
this
Chair.
evening. Yes.
I'm going to recuse myself on this matter.
Okay.
Thank you.
There'll be a board of 4. Still have a quorum. I think we're all familiar with you for all the great work that you've done around town. You're a professional landscaper. You've come before the board before. You and I have been talking over the last couple of months. You wanted to get on the agenda to discuss the proposal, and you've gone ahead and done some of the background work that you said you were going to do. And we put together, or rather, the interim town manager put together a memo based upon some of the information you sent me. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Excellent. Thank you for hosting me tonight. I'm Keith Whitehouse. I'm at 61 West Side Drive. As many of you know, my neighborhood is under construction. I was looking out the window the other day and watching some of the guys install pipes, and it just happened to be trash day. The waste management truck pulled about halfway up the street, couldn't get down the street because of the work that was being conducted. So the waste management guy got out of the truck and started going and collecting the blue bags from about 7 or 8 houses. And as he did that, 2 guys from the construction company jumped in and helped him. Another guy got out of a loader and joined in. And so 4 guys went up and down the road and grabbed the blue bags and brought them to the end of the street to the garbage truck. So those men did that to live up to the obligations for their respective companies. They did that to show respect for each other. And they did that, probably most importantly, to take care of the residents in the communities that they serve. So it is with that spirit that I come here tonight. I'm really not here to, beg and grovel and say, oh, can I fill in the park, and I'm really here to ask that you help all of us work together and help each other come up with a solution so we can get that land in use. And work together to try to make that something that we can use on a temporary basis, at least until we can get the money and raise the money to get it open as a park, as by design. So I'm asking for your support, and maybe even just voting for this tonight, or come down and man a rake, right? I want everybody that wants to be involved in this to be involved. I had on a town-wide level, I think it'll be excellent to have an extra space downtown for the 250th coming up. I feel like that's going to be huge for our town. I feel like that having additional space to raise awareness and see the spot of the former Great Dam and all the things that go with the wild and beautiful river would be just to add to the vibrancy of an already awesome downtown. So I ask for your help with that. On a personal level, it's taken me a long time, I think. I talked briefly actually to Amanda about this. Most of my adult life to really realize that when I'm feeling less than, going outside always makes me feel more than. And so that's part of the spirit of this thing too, is let's get this open so there's more outdoor spaces to use in our downtown area. I think that we, as you mentioned, we both know our respective positions on this. Mine, that public lands should be open to the public, and the boards that, hey, this was rushed and didn't get a chance to do the due diligence, and all of these things have been spoken on a number of times. I think now moving forward, we just sort of say, all right, let's try to focus on the 80% of the things that we can do, right? And sort of the 80-20 rule, where 80% of what we can do is blended in with the 20% of the things that we cannot. And understand what all of those things are and move forward. I think, again, we can make this very awesome downtown. I want to walk you through tonight the mechanics of that and the people that I've talked to try to make this a reality and answer any questions and take any input that anybody had as far as the suggestions about what we can do to make it better, more efficient, safer, etc. So I'll basically walk you through what was in the agenda items with step by step. Again, first thing would be to install a silt sock at the base so that there's no runoff from anything that we do. We're going to take 3 parking spots that would be coned off the night before. I went down today and talked to the guy at the chocolatier, explained to him which spots those would be. And there would be 2 trucks used, and a backhoe, or what they call a grade-all, to scoop the material out of the trucks would be in the 3rd spot. So 1 truck would be going to the transfer station to get the material and then come back, and another truck would be going back and forth. So there'd be only 1 truck there at one time, along with the grade-all going over the fence. There would be 2 people standing on the sidewalk. That was what I had talked about the fire department and the police department today about that, and they said that was fine as long as we had the sidewalk was kept open. Before we do that, I would like to yank out a couple pieces of the nicer granite and possibly use those for a bench. I don't want to just bury those. We're not going to be doing anything as far as touching what's embedded in the banking. I want to be very clear about that. So we're only going to be taking stuff that is loose and at the bottom of the pit, not stuff that would be up against anywhere near the chocolatier. It's going to be no digging involved here, only filling and grading, okay? We're going to use the material at the dump that's called unscreened sand. That material is, there's a pile probably 150 feet long and about 45 feet high. So there's plenty of material. It's going to take about 8 trucks. And talking to John Bell, the contractor, he's saying that this can be done in a day. So there'd be minimal disruption as far as the town. Obviously, we'd pick a day that's not, say, the day before Valentine's or some busy other retail holiday. We need to pick that. So we also want to ensure that we don't make a snow sandwich, so timing would be key with this. We don't want to pile a bunch of material and then compact it on snow. So, but that could happen quickly, as it did just a couple weeks ago. We had a storm, got a 56-degree day and some rain, and all of a sudden it was all gone. So this could happen quickly. It could take all the way till April. It's hard to say. So there'll be a tractor in the hole scraping down the material as it's loaded in. There'll be somebody compacting about every foot or so with a plate compactor, raking in the edges until we get somewhat of a level grade. So we'll be stacking up some loam to be put there to be spread in the spring. At that time, we'll need to wait till the soil gets to be about 60 degrees or so for germination. We're going to plant wildflowers, along with a grass mix. So that it should be pretty cool looking, I think. It'll be something different. Do have a plan to make a temporary ADA access, so it's all inclusive. It's going to be something that will evolve, and I'll need some help from people with that, and I have a plan for that. Also inside, there'll be somebody doing some handwork to get the edges. Again, checked with police and fire, they're all good. Checked with Kristen at Conservation Commission, and she's fine as long as we use a silk sock. Talked with the guy at the chocolatier. He's in earnest to get this done. He feels like that he is having a tough time getting any contractor or anybody to be able to do anything on that side of his building because of the jumble of jagged rock that's down to the bottom and it's in a hole. So try to get up there and get the gutter cleaned, etc. is just that's a huge distance if you really look at what would be involved there. So, any questions about anything that I have said?
Can you speak more to the ADA plan?
Can I speak more to the ADA plan? Yes. I need to work with people who know more about it than me,
Okay, fair.
right? I need to make sure that happens. I'm very interested in making sure that's accessible to all. I feel like I can do something that's going to make that so. Exactly what that is and the parameters of that is not my field of expertise. However, I always bring in everybody that I can, that I know has much more expertise than me. And there's a lot of people who want to help with this.
Sure.
I'm sorry I don't have more details exactly on what I would do. I think we need to, I guess I would say, if we start something and begin, this will evolve. And I feel like people will jump on board and try to help out with this. I have a lot of people interested in helping out with this if we can get it approved as far as the physically getting it done. Anything else?
I have two questions.
Please.
The first is the proposal to move the fence down to the river's edge when this is ready.
That would be in the spring after
Yeah.
everything's planted, yes.
So my question is, there's going to be some kind of transfer from it, so the sidewalk edge would be open, right?
Yes,
So there's going to be some kind of transfer between the level of the sidewalk and even if you build up, you'll have to build this up and compact it.
yes.
Okay.
So it's gonna have to be a grade that comes off the sidewalk and down without a
Right.
gap, yes.
Yeah, okay. And then my other question is gone. Let me
no
think for a
worries.
minute.
Well, if you find it, we're going to come back to you.
Yep.
Selectwoman Belanger, do you have any questions?
I just have some other questions. I'm still concerned. I've said this ridiculous amount of time, and here I'm saying it again. We don't know what's under the ground. I'm really not happy about proposing to fill that lot in with anything, not knowing what's under there. Mr. Sharples is not with us right now to talk about this, so that's a little awkward for me. Steve Cronin, you've talked to our director of
I did.
DPW. What about the engineer, Paul? He's our...
I have not.
Okay.
The only reason I say that is I'm not doing any digging, so there'll be no disturbing of the current ground, right?
You're
So-
filling in.
Well, it's
Filling
just
in.
more a coating, yeah.
I understand. I would really kind of like to have a memo from Steve Cronin on any thoughts or concerns. We're right back to when we accepted this. I'm still there. I absolutely appreciate everything you're doing and why I feel as you do, whether it's conservation land or this park that we've got that we're going to build, it should be open to the public. I'm
If we
just not
can,
sure if we're ready, right? And I don't think we are yet.
So when we were doing the Pearpoint discussions I'm on the committee also, right?
Yes, you are.
We had talked about how there was a level 1 survey done, environmental, right? So not indicating at that time a level 2 was necessary, right? So are we saying that we should conduct a level 2? It just sounds expensive and delaying for something. If we were going to put a building there that needed a foundation, I would agree.
Okay.
Right? But as far as like covering up ground that people currently walk on to do maintenance and do things on, and that go down there, I'm not seeing
I just,
people at the Conticello, there's AC units on the side, there's people doing construction. I've seen many people down there over the years. So, I mean, it's not the public per se, but the
Yeah,
maintenance
that's
people.
along their border, along their right of way.
Correct.
Okay, so anyway, I'm still where I was before.
Okay.
Where we discussed exactly what you were talking about with our town planner, who is not here I'm not an engineer, I'm not an expert at this, I listen to
Nor
our
am I.
town employees.
Yeah.
And the ADA, to make sure it's written off by someone who's certified.
Right.
Things like that. So that's where I am. I have seen nothing that changes when we accepted the property a year ago. So,
I think what's changed is that it really looks like we're further away from an open piece of land than we were on the day we acquired it.
You feel like we're
That's-
further away?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I feel like we, as far as an open piece of land, yes. I do. Unfortunately. That's how
Okay.
I feel. As you
Okay.
feel your way, I mean, I feel this way.
Yeah, absolutely, and I respect that. I just I'm not saying anything that's changed my mind when I accepted it in the first place, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I thought of my other
Oh,
question.
good.
This is sort of just an opinion piece, not really, if this
Sure.
is not your, I just want your opinion, rather.
Yeah, sure.
How reversible or reintegrated will this work be done? I know we have a plan for, or
So
proposed
take
plan.
it out?
Yeah,
Yeah. So I would think it would be about the same, you know? You just reverse where the loader is, scoop it and put it into the trucks and take it away. So I think it would be, again, using 3 spaces and
But-
just, you know,
but would you be taking out, what material would you be taking out?
I would only be, if it was
The loan?
required to be taken out, I would only be taking out what we put in, which would be the loose, compacted.
Well, I guess
I would-
that's my question is,
Well, there's a
can you keep
retaining
it?
wall
Yeah,
to keep you from getting into where the fire was. You
right.
know what I mean? So if you
Yeah.
look at that hole, when you're looking at it facing on the right-hand side, there is a granite retaining wall, and then to the right of that is where the fire was. The spot we're filling in is to the left
between.
of that, to the chocolatier, and shoring up his foundation,
Yeah.
which he's very keen to do, obviously. In fact, he's like, I thought they would have done this a while ago. I mean, we've all heard that before, but, he's concerned with that.
Okay. I'm just looking to use as much of the work that you're proposing now in the final solution.
Yeah, to try to use it with the design that we've come up with for, the Shady Bosque. I think that absolutely that would dovetail together.
Okay.
And as far as like what's under there, to Nancy's point, and I agree with you, I don't want to, cause any environmental problems with somebody's.
Yeah, I know
or
you
anything
don't.
like
That's
that,
not what I
that's
was-
not- That's
yeah.
not really what this is. It's more like fill it in, grade it, so it's smooth, the pits and the little holes are all gone, so it's a walkable surface. Put a fence down by the river all the way up to the buildings, allowing a gate on both sides for access for the owners of those respective buildings, and just allowing people down to see the wild and beautiful river. And, honestly, saying, well, can somebody get hurt? Sure. I mean, sure. Everybody, anywhere in town, anybody could fall off a sidewalk or whatever it is, but the chances are, the enjoyment level and the increased vibrancy to our downtown, the more business, a place to go have a coffee or a sandwich or whatever, it's just, that's where it's at for me, let's try to get that done and work together. And I'm not saying throw caution to the wind, let's bring in people as we go along. Hey, what should we be doing here? What do you think? Blah, blah, blah. But if we don't start, if we don't begin, then nothing will happen. We need to start. That's where I'm at. And I would ask for your support for that.
Selectwoman Cowan, any comments, questions?
I guess the question mostly is, how much does this cost to
The
do that?
town?
Yeah.
Nothing. Well, I shouldn't say that, because there's always something, right? Like, they're gonna
Right.
probably use the loader that's down at the dump there's gonna be some diesel in there that's gonna be used to load the truck, right? Bell and Flynn, there's probably gonna be, I've already talked to, Melissa typed this up, right? You're getting paid, you got your check, right? So that's good. So so I talked to Kristen, I talked to police chief, fire chief, I talked to, Steve at DPW. So there's some payroll, there's some ancillary costs,
Sure.
But I don't, as far as like an outlay, my wife and I are gonna pay Johnny, right, pay John Bell, and
Which is I mean, it's so incredibly generous.
well, part of it too, like, we trust him, he's an engineer.
Yeah,
right?
understood.
So I'm just a landscaper, as I like to say.
And to be clear, he does a lot of work for the
Yeah,
town, so
he-
his credibility is not
And
in question.
he walked me through this step by step, right? A lot of what you're seeing on here are his words. So, I had a lengthy conversation with Tim about that, and that will evolve if we can get this approved, right?
Yeah.
It's to get more details, to get more input from an engineer, make sure we get all the connections that are by the street, and those are absolutely dead, and there's no, we're gonna need to undig, dig this up and get this, all that needs to be all done. So this is to get permission to get going. And that's what this is. And if it comes to a spot where like, oh, there's just something that's unsafe or we can't do it, well, then we can't do it. Again, back to the 80-20 deal, right? What can we do? How can we
Yeah.
make this happen?
Yeah, and I mean, I think that that's where I am in terms of I want to see this used as something.
Right.
And one of the things, I'm with Selectwoman Belanger about being worried. Like, what are we uncovering? What are the risks? Because we do take on that risk. And then if there is something there,
Yeah.
then what happens? All of a sudden, we're on the hook for something.
Right.
And, and this very generous property was sort of, I remember I couldn't be here because we had a family vacation that was scheduled in between, Christmas and New Year's. And that's when we had the amount of time to make the decision. And so there wasn't a whole lot of work that could go into thinking like, well, should we actually ask for this with no restrictions so that we could potentially put a building there or whatever the case may be.
Right.
So I feel like, yes, I agree about the wild and beautiful river, and I want it to be as accessible as possible, and I want it to be safe because
Right.
I don't want to assume that you all are going to take on the liability because I'm sure that you won't because now we own this property. And so these are all of the things that I can't not be worried about, as well as the people who said, well, wait a minute, we took this survey and we wanted it to look like this. Why are you saying it's going to be this? So like,
No, this is the base for that, right? No matter what that becomes,
Right.
this has to be done first anyway.
I understand. And also, then it's like, okay, well, if we're not willing to put it on the warrant article, or if we're not willing to put a warrant article to get, there are all of these things that sort of like precipitate this kind of decision. And so I want to be clear about where I'm coming from in terms of how I'm weighing this decision, because it's not that I don't want a beautiful piece of land to live up to its potential. That's what I want for everything. That's what I want for this town, for this board, for this state. I want us to all live up to our potential. And how do we build on the things that we're just not sure about? And so like that's the piece that is like, ugh. So like it's not like I don't want a beautiful park there, or I don't want access to the river. I don't want us to set a precedent where then we're halfway down a road and we can't turn around and come back. So I guess
It's gonna be
that's
costly.
yeah. Those are the things that I worry about. And I think about when I'm asked to make a decision like this.
Okay.
Can I want to, if I may, remind me, because I know we've talked to Primex several times, and I believe that Primex was okay with opening it up from a liability standpoint, but did we ask Primex about any potential liability for volunteers without any supervision from town staff?
So we didn't ask that, but the last time we discussed this, I think you had still had your insurance from your business.
I still do. So I carry my insurance. I'm fully insured, right? So this is not like some fly-by-night gig.
So that.
Yeah, I
I'm
was-
fully
knew that.
insured for me.
Yeah.
And anybody that I have helping me would be self-insured. Okay, so these are people that are already self-insured, right?
Okay.
So that part is good. Now, as far as like if there was another, say somebody on the sidewalk with a vest, right? That person might not be insured.
Yep.
Okay, but the person's in the hole, operating the equipment, or pulling out the granite, or raking down the material, those people will all be insured, and then it will be all, of course, the contractor is insured, right? So that's all good. I guess the crux of the question is, to both of your points, is what's under there?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know,
Right.
right? We know a fire was there, and we know there's probably some less than ideal things under there, right? So So we're not going to disturb those
possibly.
things with this. We're just going to put the base down. So if we're going to say that this Shady Bosque plan requires us to dig everything up and get to that, this is going to be a mighty expensive proposition, right? Because that's going to be some nasty stuff, is it not? I think underneath there.
We don't know, that's why we want to
Yeah,
know.
I would imagine a
Right?
big
We
fire
want
for
to
a
know
building
what's under
would be-
there. It's been too many years.
Yeah, it's been a lot of years, you know. So I guess my point is, let's, from my point of view, let's not do nothing and let it sit there until the 30s sometime when we finally get the money to, you know, it's such a beautiful spot. You know, I was
I
down
agree.
there today, I was looking at the river, it was flowing pretty good. Talking to the guy from the Chocolatier, and I'm like, man, this place is amazing, we gotta get down there. And that's where I'm at. I'm not advocating for anything other than that.
Heard.
Thank you.
Keith, do you have a timeline?
Yeah, so again, these things can move quickly, right? Could happen, and I want to make sure we got all our ducks in a row, so I'm going to say, all right, you know, at least a month, right? But if there's a lot of snow, you can't make a snow sandwich, so we need to wait for spring. As far as getting the loam spread and the germination starting, that's going to be late April. Timeline would probably be for growth and everything around the end of May for Memorial Day to be opened. You know, we would need some time to do the ADA piece, make sure that was up to snuff and checked, and then, you know, double checked and all set. So there's some work there once it gets started, but move quickly, you know, try to start by picking up the chunks of loose tar, get that chunk of cement out of there, get the granite out of there, all that stuff can be done without any disruption to the public. And then the actual fill-in would be a one-day deal. And then the grading and everything of the loam would probably be a couple days to get the deep, you know, get the exact grade, the finished grade, what we want, and how it should look and how it should feel underfoot. So the timeline, if I had to say a completion for this, what I am talking about, would be around Memorial Day. And that would be open and mowed, and the wildflowers would be coming in. I think it would look pretty cool. Something a little different for the downtown area, for sure, rather than just a lawn.
And probably starting in March?
Yes, I think that is
Safe?
reasonable to assume, you know, unless we get a really warm spell. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of work that we could do to do some checking on some of this, what's underneath in the interim, right? We need to get an engineer, like you said, and see what's happening with that. But I just hate to say no and do nothing. That's where.
I struggle with this, Keith, constantly, for a year. We accepted it.
Yeah.
It was too quick. We listened to our town planner. He is not here to tell us an update or if
Yeah.
there's any new technology, something we could do that's inexpensive to put us, I have no idea.
Keep it from
So
costing a lot of money, you know, that's.
I
what's-
don't want to. So that was the other concern that I spoke about to you before,
Yeah.
was putting fill or whatever it is that's in there, I'm not, and then having to pay to take it back out, again, to do the work that we're going to do next. I mean, your committee that you sit on has done a tremendous amount of work this year.
They
An
have.
Absolutely tremendous amount of work. And, you know, I'll just say, could this possibly, I don't know, jeopardize their fundraising? Because people are saying, I don't know, I'm just saying, the thought
Well,
crossed my mind.
My thoughts on that in that vein, right, are the fundraising.
Would do opposite.
Would be enhanced. Because you could raise on site. Say, wow, look at this, isn't this beautiful?
Yep.
Wouldn't it be nice if we had a few trees and some
Yeah,
bushes? we had
and with the 250
nice-
coming up,
nice
it would be
walkway.
nice for the summer.
Exactly.
I
Good time to
have
fundraise, too,
given
I
a
think.
lot of thought to this.
Yeah.
I don't like to say no to things, especially with, you've poured your heart and soul into trying to find a way to do this.
Trying.
I know you are, and I respect that tremendously. ADA, what's the certification for ADA? Is it, no, none at all. So if we decide to do this, I just want to make sure that we're not in jeopardy of something thinking it's an ADA, and I just would like someone to look at that part, because that's a big goal of the select board, is to focus more on ADA. So I want to make sure I could look at it all I wanted, and I wouldn't know if it's safe.
So I guess
So-
my thoughts are, I'd use one of Amanda's quotes, which was, let's not let perfect get in the way of much better, right? And so
Yeah.
I would try to do the very best I could with that and try to get it so that, that's important to us.
It is.
That is important.
But we do
to
have
my
to
wife
follow
and I.
the perimeters of what ADA means,
Yeah.
though. So if we're going to say that park is ADA or that path
Mm-hmm.
that you were talking about is ADA accessible, we have to make sure it is actually the standard.
Yeah,
So,
of course.
yeah. It's a huge concern of mine. We've been focusing on that on the planning board, too, just trying to make
Yeah.
sure.
And rightfully so.
Yes, so, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other thoughts? So, I think we all share similar concerns here, as do you,
Warranted. Sure.
right?
Yeah.
If you were acquiring a piece of property on your own, you do your due diligence.
Yeah.
You wouldn't rush and do something completely blind. However, in life, sometimes an opportunity comes, and it's worth taking a gamble, right? So the select board was presented with an opportunity to accept a donation of land without having the opportunity to really do their due diligence. And we had 3 public hearings, and we heard from the public, and the overwhelming voices that we heard was that the public was in favor of accepting the donation. So again, not an ideal situation when you're looking to acquire something,
Right.
but it was worth the gamble, right? When the motion was made to accept the donation, inside that motion, it was very lengthy, worded, and pretty thorough and specific. It was all of the conditions that the donors had in there, along with the fact that we were accepting this because it was a wonderful opportunity to get that piece of land, but understanding that we had some other projects in the pipeline, other projects waiting to get in the pipeline, and so the understanding was it was going to get in the back of the line, and when the opportunity arose, then we would deal with it. Shortly thereafter, quite a few folks wanted to volunteer to go ahead and fill it in. And that wasn't what we had, it wasn't the premise of accepting the donation.
Right.
However, in the spirit of not wanting to do anything and understanding that there was a push to do something, we had our town planner review filling it in. We had our town planner look at some other options. And the board felt comfortable putting together a committee that has done an incredible amount of work to get us to where we're going. And I agree with you wholeheartedly that public land belongs to the public and public should have access to public land. And in this case, though, we did not accept a donation of conservation land. We did not accept a donation of a existing park. We accepted a donation of a vacant lot that had been the victim of a fire, and we don't know what's underneath. So I'm gonna disagree with you slightly there in that, this isn't that perfect situation where you get a piece of conservation land that's ready for folks to go roam on, or it's a park that already exists. There were some problems with this. There's a gamble that we took, right? So I don't feel that we're not doing nothing. We have a committee that's looked into
I'm not
this.
saying nothing. What I'm saying is physically.
Or taking a step back, as you said,
physically
right? I mean,
nothing,
it's one of these situations where we made a quick decision once
Right.
because it was a good opportunity.
Okay.
As much as I want to open that up, I'm reluctant to make another quick decision for the sake of making a quick decision. But I'm willing to continue talking with you about how we can go ahead to get to March, where you do the work and you plant the grass and the wildflowers, and it's open for Memorial Day weekend. I don't know that I'm comfortable voting tonight to give the okay, but I'm comfortable with continuing the conversation so that we can learn more about the ADA options. I'd like to speak with somebody without spending a lot of money as to whether or not we need to survey underneath a little bit more And I think that we can do that and continue the conversation with you before we get to March.
That's all I ask. I want that we not shut it down and say, hey, no, it's been 2 years gone by already, right? Let's make it another 5.
No.
That's what I don't want.
I don't want to do that either, but I do
So
want to vet out.
I respect what you're saying.
Yeah.
I understand it and agree with it. I want it to be the best it can be. I really mean that. I really want this to be the best it can be for a minimal cost. And it's as simple as that, right? There's a lot of people that want to help. And there's a lot of people who know what they're doing who want to help. So it's something we can do and do right and do it, insured. We can do it correctly. We
Gotta
can make it
protect the
ADA
town.
compliant. We can do all of those things. I think you're right. Like, I think my reputation might be that I'm going to be out there tomorrow morning picking up the tar and getting the
But
back.
it's for that reason that we can wait a little bit and continue
Yes,
the conversation, because
exactly.
when
So
March comes,
I-
I know you're ready for the next day, right?
Right.
And we don't have to
I'm not-
worry
I'm
about
not
whether we
trying
have a
to do
warm
that.
February, a cold February.
Yes.
I don't know how the rest of the board feels. I'm comfortable continuing the conversation with you, bringing in appropriate town staff and figuring out some of these unanswered questions like the ADA. And maybe we start with our code enforcement officer. I'd like to sit down with our engineer. Let's use the resources that we have, right?
Right.
Because, granted, that's taxpayer money and their salaries, but their staff, their resources. So let's start with the resources, continue the conversation with you, and then bring it back to the board. If we're ready to move forward in March, we're ready to move forward in March. I mean, I'd be willing, and I want to hear from my colleagues, I'm willing to make that commitment rather than just do a yes or no tonight, because if I have to do a yes or no tonight, I'm going to vote no.
I'm getting that inkling. Okay, so.
Right.
With that said, yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Because I want it to be right too. Again, I'm not going at this half-cocked. I want this to be something that we can all enjoy. It's all of
Agreed.
our land.
Agreed.
Let's use it. But we
This
need to
was
get-
useful tonight.
We need to get on it, right? We need to get all of the ducks in a row. So I thank you for that.
Can I ask you a planting question?
Sure.
So if, say it's March, April, that you put the seeds down for the wildflowers, because you were talking about wildflowers, how long would that take for that to,
Well, so
Root
wildflowers
and
need to be in
bloom.
cold storage. So the seeds are currently in cold storage now, so outside in a tote, right? So they're cold. So then they got to germinate. That's going to take, I don't know, probably, Amanda, how long is that going to take? Yeah, a couple.
not long then?
No, not a. Yeah, germinate, and then the
Right,
flowers.
well,
come
no,
up
I got that word. I have no green thumb. That's why I'm asking this question.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
and then you're going to look at your growth for a period of time as well after germination, so, like
Fall?
Memorial Day. No.
No, so
spring,
different
late
colors
spring.
will cycle through the year.
Yeah.
And go get some yellows at a certain time, then over a period of time, if you don't reseed, the dominant flower in the wildflower mix that you use will kind of take over. So it might be all yellow. or
So
might be
it could attract the butterflies and things like
Yeah,
that, right?
definitely.
No, yeah,
That's the goal.
Amanda doesn't, okay, doesn't think so, so.
Well,
I'm
no, well,
I'm trying to get a
bees.
picture. It's
So-
okay, they pollinate, right? We
Yeah,
want
no,
a
that's what-
pollinating
That's the
garden.
goal. So
So-
that'd be great. I would appreciate those efforts.
Okay.
I think that's a great compromise right here tonight.
Is the board satisfied with
I
the
am.
compromise?
Are you still interested in any public comment?
Please, come up.
Let me open my notes back up. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
I'm Amanda Kelly, 24 Prospect Street. Very well said. I'm so proud of you. You came so far with this. It's so well thought out, right? So nicely detailed. Your beautiful little memo. I'm really impressed. I do appreciate your ongoing commitment to ADA, making all town projects ADA accessible is obviously huge. The code enforcement officer, Doug, would be the one who could just
Yep,
check,
got that
as
checked
needed
off.
revenue.
Thank you.
I will say, as a committee, myself included, we preferred to wait for soil and engineering analysis. We did take this up as a committee once. Unfortunately, Keith wasn't there that night, but we did vote unanimously against going forward with this plan at that time because we did want to know, to understand the entire amount that would need to be dug out and exactly what substrate needed to be put in. And we thought that if we really focused on fundraising, we wouldn't be terribly far out from building the park. That said, tonight, I did learn about the retaining wall and that you wouldn't need to dig it out. So I do understand that in a different way than I understood before. At the end, though, it seems to me, I mean, Nico, your proposal was beautiful. I was thinking of a happy medium myself, that if my happy medium, and maybe yours can be mixed in some way, mine was if we could raise the $40,000 and finish the construction documents, Keith could do this plan as soon as we had those construction documents saying, this is what we need and this is what's there, so that it would move the timeline up of the park being flat and open, and it would be well before we had to do the whole second round of fundraising, right?
Right.
So I think that maybe nothing would have to get undone that way. It would get the park physically open. It might help with our fundraising at that point to say, you know, we have accomplished this much. This is what we need to accomplish. My plan certainly wouldn't, almost certainly, I don't know, who knows? I've written a lot of grants for this park, but hopefully, I don't think it would be ready for Memorial Day. So this Memorial Day idea, if we could get town staff to help with some of that, maybe we could move it up, but at least the happy medium of get those construction documents, know 100% what we were doing, and then give you the go-ahead seemed what my idea was. So just wanted to share that.
Thank you, and I think that would be ideal. I mean, if you can raise the fund, and that gives us the motivation to wait till March, right? Because it gives the committee
Yeah.
a couple more months to try to raise some funds.
I would turn to you to help me get the 88 deal
I
done.
will help you.
I know you will. I knew you would.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
community.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thanks, Amanda.
Anything else for me?
Any other questions or comments?
No, just thank you.
Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Nancy Phillips, half of the ex-property owner, I think. I just wanted to speak to your point on the site, and you probably all know this, but I wanted to remind you that when we owned the property, we were going to build on it, so we had a very extensive, I would call it a phase 1.5, that was done on the property, which included radar assessment of the entire undercarriage of the property. So it's in the report, which was turned over to the town long before you made the, not long, but sometime before you made the decision to go ahead. So there are no tanks, there's no substances, and there's no whatever else radar detects underneath. And also to mention that when we bought that property, the person who owned it before purchased it, I don't know, 20, 25 years before we bought it, and he financed it with the bank, and it did have a phase 2. Unfortunately, he died, and we purchased it from his wife, and we got nothing in terms of records and don't even know where it was financed at this point. So it's had very extensive investigation underneath. There's probably a bunch of clutter in there, but I don't think you're going to find any.
I understand, but our town planner knew the history of that too, and still was concerned and wanted to do a little bit more looking into it. So, but thank you for reminding us of the reports.
Thank you.
Come on down, man.
Come on down. I'm Steve Jones, and I'm the chair of the Pearpoint Park Stakeholders Advisory Committee. Keith, thank you very much for a very thorough, generous, and well thought out proposal. Your sincerity is unquestioned, and your generosity is, well, maybe not unequaled, because there's some other people like you I haven't actually personally met, but I couldn't withstand the opportunity to say thank you in person to the two of you for donating this property.
I think he's still mad at me, so it's not.
Well, yeah, that's between you. No, that's between the two of you. But thank you very much for donating what Keith has aptly called a choice piece of property. And there is something magical about being down on the river.
I agree.
And I think, first of all, we have to say what we agree on, and that this is a choice piece of property. It is magical down on the river, and it represents an opportunity for the town, for the businesses in it to have a little bit more business, because people will use this property however we end up using this. And also for the people of the town to have ultimately a piece of property that is yet another, at least ADA accessible, and our goal as a committee is not only ADA accessibility, but a higher degree of accessibility. And there may be interim steps toward that higher goal, but that's our goal. And acknowledging that people already come from as far away as Keene and Concord to Planet Playground because it's an accessible park. They can bring their loved one there. They come to Exeter.
Mm-hmm.
If there's another park in town that is like that, not a playground, but an accessible park, that brings just a little bit more commerce, a little bit more enjoyment to the downtown area. So I hope we can all agree on those things.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And I've been hampered in somewhat by the charge of our committee on what we are allowed to talk about and do. So I have my concerns as well, which, first of all, I didn't know about the radar assessment. I didn't read that in the Phase 1 report that we got. And even when I chatted with the person who did the Phase 1 assessment, we didn't discuss that. So that's something I'm not aware of. I wasn't aware of until just a few minutes ago. So thank you for that. I still, without that in hand, I am reluctant to just tonight, as you say, make a decision. And I'm not in a position to make a decision. I'm in a position to hear what his decision is. But my point of view would be we would be wise to review at least that report. And if you have it, well,
It's in the planning department,
But
and
I'm not
and the
sure-
appropriate staff, has reviewed it.
Yeah.
the corporate, okay.
Yeah, so I just want to make that, very clear.
Yeah,
that
I
we-
read that report from cover to cover, and I didn't see the radar issue.
We had all of
highlighted.
those reports before we accepted the donation.
Yeah.
And Dave Sharples, our town planner, did review everything, so.
So my original concerns were that, one, that yes, as Amanda said, it would be nice to know what's underneath before we scrape for our park, because the ultimate design will involve some scraping.
Right,
and-
but at this
and-
time, I'm not doing any scraping, just to
Right.
be clear about that.
And perhaps to Phil, if you're going to, I don't know how you can do this in the future, you can say, well, you're going to volunteer to do something in the future, and that is dig out perhaps.
Yeah,
what you-
I can't make that commitment the way, I don't want to laugh or anything, but the way this is going, I could be dead.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Understood. And it's not wished for either.
No, right, I'm just saying, right? Who
Yeah.
knows? So, that's where I'm at with that. I can't commit to that. I can commit to making it safe as I can now, and that I can commit to.
Yeah.
I caution about overthinking some of this stuff sometimes, This is like we did this big survey at the intersection of Linden, Pine, and Front Street, and we said, okay, we're going to get a traffic circle, but ultimately there were shrubs that were 4 feet high that were on a 3-foot elevation blocking that entire intersection from view when you were parked on Pine Street or Linden Street. So 2 old dudes go and rip out those shrubs.
Are you
then
talking about you being one of them?
And then it winds up where you can now see through the entire intersection when you're sitting on Pine and Linden. So while I agree that intersection's still not ideal and needs some work and all of that, the obvious thing was to take out those 4-foot shrubs and get it so there's a clear sight line from all of those intersections. And that didn't require a $75,000 survey. That required a couple of old dudes and some shovels. Please don't overthink this. That's all I'm asking that we do with this whole thing, right? Don't overthink what I'm saying. Don't turn it into something that it's not.
I think we've taken a step forward tonight.
Yeah, I agree. And I
so we
thank
need to move
everybody
on.
for their comments and their time.
I had a secondary concern, which was, I'm not sure about fundraising. If people see a park that is filled, they may say, we've got a park. It's done.
Yep.
And that may make fundraising harder. I am not a fundraiser, Councilwoman, Council Brown, Cowan, I'm so sorry. I understand you to be a fundraiser.
I mean, sort of.
Yes. Well,
I do raise money.
okay. I am a physician by training and not a fundraiser. So I'm not an expert in this, and I only have a layman's sense. But that is my concern. Thank you very much, Keith, both of you, Elliot, Nancy, and board for allowing me to speak this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Dr. Jones.
Dr. Jones.
Dr. Jones. So we'll be in touch.
Very good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Welcome back.
It's good to be back.
Our next agenda item is continuing discussion on the FY26 budget and warrant discussion since we last met. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. 2 legal notices have been posted. As per the RSA, I'm going to read both of those into the record. First legal notice is the notice of public hearing, the Town of Exeter 2026 operating budget. The Exeter Select Board hereby gives notice of a public hearing on the Town of Exeter fiscal year 2026 operating budget and all financial and other warrant articles on Tuesday, January 20th, 2026 at 7 p.m. in the Novak Room of the Exeter Town Office. This hearing will be held pursuant to RSA 32:5 and RSA 40:13. The date of this notice was December 23rd, 2025. Second legal notice, notice of public hearing, Town of Exeter 2026 bonds. The Exeter Select Board hereby gives notice of a public hearing pursuant to RSA 33:8A on the following projects requiring bonds and notes as part of the fiscal year 2026 town warrant. Surface water treatment plant design, Phase 2, $2 million. Water treatment plan residuals disposal, $500,000. And the nitrogen reduction program equipment purchase of a street sweeper, $412,000. The public hearing will be held on Tuesday, January 20th, 2026, commencing at 7 p.m. in the Exeter Town Offices, Novak Room, 10 Front Street, Exeter, New Hampshire. The public is encouraged to attend, and this legal notice was dated December 23rd, 2025. When we last reviewed the budget, I think the one outstanding topic was the warrant article that the Pearpoint Park Committee had put forward for $35,000. It went before the Budget Recommendations Committee. The Budget Recommendations Committee voted to not recommend the warrant article. We took it up as a discussion based on allowing a courtesy to the committee that had essentially done what the Select Board had asked. It didn't mean we were committing, it didn't mean we were advocating for the warrant, but we felt that it was the appropriate thing, bless you.
Sorry.
I thought it was the appropriate thing to weigh in on it, and we opted to continue the conversation this evening. I'll start off by saying that I appreciate all of the work that the Budget Recommendations Committee did this year, as they've done every year. Selectman Chartrain, you and I agree most of the time that we don't push back on their recommendations. Sometimes our opinion is differed. I think in this case, I thought the Pearpoint Park Committee did an exceptional job presenting to the BRC. However, we gave them the discussion that they earned, I guess, the discussion that we I think respectfully thought that it needed to come before the select board because of some of the debate at BRC, and we did. Given the conversation that we've had with Mr. Whitehouse, given the conversation we've had with Dr. Jones and Amanda, I would be willing to accept the recommendation of the BRC and keep the $35,000 off of the warrant because of the commitment that the Pearpoint Park Committee has made to fundraising, the comfort that most of them feel in fundraising. And I believe they're not ready to go. We've already started. So my thoughts.
Mr. Chair, my thinking has evolved over the last 2 weeks, and I no longer think this should be on the warrant. Thank you.
Well, I was fine with it not being on the warrant either until Amanda talked about, doing that next phase and hand in hand with what Mr. Whitehouse wants to do. So, whatever. I don't know what the status of their fundraising is or what their goal, like the date, or what they have in mind for when they can get this. But Amanda made a good point of what you had to say for a proposal on that, and that, if we could get to that phase and if we had that on the warrant and it passes, then that would be early March. So actually before that, I was just willing to say whatever and
That's a good
see
point.
how it goes. But
Would you like to speak
that
to
just
that?
threw a wrench in it a
Either
little
of you?
bit.
And update us on the fundraising activities. I mean, you've got a few things planned, I know, in February.
Do you want to speak first? You go first.
Steve Gents, Chair of the Pearpoint Park Stakeholders Advisory Committee. Once again, fundraising has just begun. And our February event that was planned fell through. So we don't have a large event for February. We do have organizations that we're approaching next week. And we're starting this week with earnest fundraising efforts. And if you want to go any further, Amanda?
Yeah, I was going to speak to a different tack.
Okay.
I do think that that's a very insightful thought.
I came from you. So of course you do.
Let me just back up and say, I really, really thank you so much. Thank you all for taking this up at the last meeting. It was really nice to watch your discussion, and it was very respectful, and we very much appreciated it, and just thank you personally. Not speaking as a committee member necessarily, but just personally, I really appreciated it. That being said, we have talked, I'm on the committee. Obviously, this is the chair, just for everybody watching. We have talked about our status, and although I don't think we could make it for March for Keith, or necessarily, like I just said a few minutes ago, for Keith to have this ready and open by Memorial Day, I think still within this year is feasible. And planting season for grass and things like that is actually even slightly better in the fall. I do feel like that is a fairly reasonable goal at this time to raise that $40,000. So I think that this conversation with Keith could evolve towards that end without it being on the warrant article. Additional pieces that I have already previously shared, but we'll just share on the record. At this point, almost 2 months-ish, 6 weeks after the recommendations committee voted not to recommend it, we sort of had our minds on different things, right? Like if we were going to be on the warrant article, we'd want to kind of do like a PR awareness, like what is this? Vote yes on X number, right? Like we'd kind of need to do all that, and it would be kind of difficult right now for us with our limited capacity and such a focus on fundraising, to suddenly do that, that feels like a lot to us. So we did share that. And we don't mind the idea of this being, since it was only 10% that we were asking for the town, we already stated very clearly that 90% was going to be fundraised. We're now kind of just excited to say, yeah, we did it 100%. So that's sort of where we evolved to. So that's what I wanted to
The
share.
goal has always
Thank you.
been for this to be the lowest amount of burden.
Yeah.
And potentially none for the Exeter taxpayer.
Yeah.
So,
And that remains a goal. I'm going to say this knowing that the chair of the BRC sits in the back of the room. That's as sincere as a pledge I can make. We cannot guarantee anything.
Yeah.
I know you know that, but it is a sincere pledge. We're going for broke.
Okay,
Yes.
well, I was trying to incorporate what Amanda said at the previous discussion, because Keith's looking for it to be this spring, not this fall. So that's fine. We will deliberate on all of that at another time. So thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you both. Although you still could make a motion if you want to.
At this point, I'm just not. You want me to continue? I just think that between the executive committee, the interim town manager, all the penny pinching and everything all the department heads have done, to me, that $35,000 is not a huge ask. It just isn't.
Yep.
But it's the principle of the thing. With everything else that's happened this year, I'm willing to let the committee, Pearpoint Park Committee, do their thing, and then I'm willing to help them do their thing when it comes to fundraisers. I'll volunteer my own personal time and things to help with that.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at right now with that.
Thank you.
Sure.
Selectwoman Gilman?
No, I'm fine with what everybody said. so.
Okay. So we will accept the BRC's recommendation, and it'll stay off the warrant. Were there any other discussions on the budget?
I had none.
Mr. Kelly, do you have any final? Step right up, please.
And while he's moving, I'm going to stress it again. The Pearpoint Park Committee has done an astronomical job. They had a lot of different conversations, a lot of different perspectives and viewpoints, and they pulled it together in this past year. It's been incredible to watch, so.
Good evening. Bob Kelly, the chair of the Budget Recommendations Committee. I basically have one simple comment and a question. The comment is I wanted to thank the executive team as well as you folks again for encouraging the Public Works Department to encumber some significant funds, over $100,000, to do some of the work that was slated for this year and that will now roll over into next year without having to add to the 2026 budget. So that, I think that interactive process worked really, really well. And again, it's some significant money that we're rolling over. So that, I think, just wanted to make that comment. Everybody who was involved in that did a great job. And the next is a question, and just in speaking with Corey, he has said some of the numbers on debt service and the budget and things have changed slightly over the last couple of weeks as he's been tweaking various bonds and requirements. So my question is, do you want us to update our report to you, or the one that we wrote in December, to reflect those numbers, or
No, I don't think
what's your pleasure?
Corey's incorporated that. You presented your recommendation based on the information that you had. So I appreciate the offer, but
Okay.
I don't think the extra work.
Really trying to pull them back in for one more meeting?
Always love meeting with you.
We enjoy having you.
I don't think that's necessary.
No, I don't.
Thank you though for offering.
Okay.
And
Other than that, everything
Okay.
I think has gone very well, and I appreciate the discussion on
Thank you.
the items tonight. I think
Thank
it was worthwhile, and it will be an evolving process.
I think so. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you on the 20th.
Absolutely. Speaking of the 20th, Melissa, are we ready for moving forward with the warrant?
Yes.
Okay.
Their language is in draft form, so it will be
Perfect.
going to legal.
Okay.
And then we will have that for the 20th. Try to
Wonderful.
send it out a little bit earlier to you guys.
Perfect.
But yeah,
We'll be ready for a long night.
hopefully not too long.
Okay. Any other questions on the budget?
None.
Comments on the budget? Okay.
Tough year, but good work.
I do have a question. How many articles are on the warrant as of right now?
21.
21, thank you.
And I think last year we were at 38, I think I remember being.
We had multiple citizens petitions last year.
Yeah.
And we have,
Right.
how many citizens
And-
petitions?
Well, it's still open.
Yeah.
It's still open, yeah.
But I'm pleased to hear that it's only 21. Less is always more. So thank you for that.
The last item on the agenda is just an update on town manager. I'm going to turn that over to interim manager, Ms. Roy. Well, I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay, because
We're ready to is it posted or we're ready to post?
it is not ready to,
Okay.
excuse me, it is not posted. It is ready to be
Okay.
posted.
The job description's updated?
Correct, job
Okay.
descriptions updated. I put together a little flyer on a little bit about Exeter, since we wanted to do a national search. We are ready to go in the next day or so.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing a national search for a town manager. Our vice chair, Selectwoman Cowan, and I will be representing the select board, working with Ms. Roy, Mr. Stevens, and other department heads. There will be a date in the future, either the end of January or early February. We haven't nailed that date.
Oh, we
down
didn't.
yet.
So it's tentative in my calendar? Okay, thank
We
you.
had to change it.
Oh, thanks.
We will be having a public meeting to review the job description with the public and to listen to any feedback as to what public may or may not be looking for in a town manager. But it will not be discussion on the job description. The job description is the job description. After that, there will be an internal committee, as I said, Selectwoman Cowan and I, the executive team, and department heads. Hopefully, we will get an abundance of resumes, and we'll continue to keep the public updated. I just want to thank Interim Manager Roy again for the exceptional work that you've done essentially since July. Mr. Stevens is part of the executive team. Both have worked with the Select Board. Our department heads have performed as usual phenomenally. And the town has been in a really good place with the two of you taking the lead. So on behalf of the board, thank you very much.
Yes, the leadership has been very much appreciated. And watching you all go through this budget cycle this year and trying out new ways of doing things, I think it was very impressive. So thank you both.
Okay. Any questions? Moving forward, Madam Clerk, if you could go through the exemptions and credits,
Yes,
please.
I will. So, solar exemption, map 54, lot 5, unit 2, in the amount of $11,000 for the tax year 2026.
So moved.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
And next are veterans credits, map 68, lot 6, unit 715, in the amount of $500 for the tax year 2026. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay.
Any discussion?
Sorry, I thought you were going to do all of them at the same time. I'm sorry, Nancy.
Oh, I probably could have, sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, no.
We have a motion and a second. No discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And I will take Molly's suggestion and do the other two at the same time. Map 103, Lot 13, Unit 20, and Map 86, Lot 37, both in the amount of $500 each for the tax year 2026.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We do not have any permits and approvals this evening, so I will turn it over to our interim town manager, Roy.
Good evening, everyone. A lot of the staff were able to take a break last week and the week before, so thank you for the employee appreciation days. It was nice to have some of our staff be able to take some time with their family. Director Cronin wanted me to let everybody know that DPW is aware that due to the warming and freezing we've had these kind of very strange weather patterns, we are seeing potholes. They are aware of it. They are taking note, and they will be working on that when they can from a weather perspective. Corey and I continue to help lead the project with Paul Falasich, the town engineer, for the police and fire substations. So that has been very exciting. And again, Corey and I are continuing to work on the legal language for the warrant and the default budget and all of things for end of year. And thank Corey and his team for the banking transition. That was not a light undertaking. So thank you to the finance team.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Ms. Roy? All right. Select Board Committee reports. We'll start with Selectwoman Gilman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The only, committee meeting I had between the last time I was here was the HDC, and I just want to compliment the applicant for being open to suggestions and actually offering a suggestion different than his application, and went very well. I want to talk to you about the bills that are coming up at the State House after Thursday.
Okay.
This is not, I'm going to do it here because I am a concerned citizen over several of these bills. One of them is going to do away with default budgets. So you just put on your proposed budget and vote it up or down. One of my faves.
That's one of the proposed bills?
Yes.
Okay.
There are two about appropriations to local conservation commissions, and one is to require the approval of the local governing body before accepting any land.
They do that? Right. Yeah, they already do that.
Allowing the governing bodies of municipalities, cities, and towns to review and approve school budgets, because, we work together so well and have the same things in common. There's another default budget, and there's several default budgets. Let's see. Requiring the assessment of property and land based on the replacement cost of value. I don't know how they're going to decide that.
Can you repeat that one? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's requiring the assessment value to be based on the replacement or cost of the property, like how much it would cost to build it. How much would it cost to replace it? So
they're looking to change the standard. Instead of the market value, it's a replacement value.
And that goes.
It could make a big difference for people who are concerned.
It could.
Replacement value must have a formula because they use that for the insurance purpose.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the whole thing yet, but that formula also could change every year. So, it's one half dozen of the other. Allowing us to propose a charter amendment. Oh, no, we don't have a charter, so never mind. There's another one about, I didn't highlight it here. Sorry. I guess I'll leave it there. Tomorrow and Thursday, we're talking about retained bills that didn't pass through last year because the committees wanted to work on them some more. But meetings of committees are starting Friday, if not Thursday. So I haven't talked to Bob Glowacki about it, but I want to put up a little presentation about how to find a bill, follow a bill, pick your favorite representative and see what they're doing. My committee, Municipal and County Government, has 81 bills this year. It's 10% of the bills that were proposed, and it's more than any other committee.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know why.
Yeah, a lot of work ahead of
Well, tax caps, audits, tax caps, exemptions, and then these ones that I've talked to you about. So There it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Selectwoman Gilman. Selectwoman Belanger.
I do not have a report this evening.
All right, thank you. Selectwoman Cowan.
I do not have a report either.
Selectman Chartran.
Due to the holidays, I did not have any meetings, so I don't have a report.
And I am with you. No meetings due to the holidays.
Yeah.
Okay, we have 3 pieces of correspondence. I'm going to go backwards. The first was the NHMA legislative bulletin. The second is a notification from Eversource that they'll be doing some work replacing existing wood transmission structures. Work will take place within the power line corridor spanning Old Town Farm Road in Exeter to Pheasant Run Drive in Sandown. And the whole memo is in our packet. And then lastly, there's some rate information from CPCNH announcing community power rates effective February 1st of 2026. Any questions?
No.
Okay. Board calendar, our next meeting is on the 20th of January, that's a Tuesday, and that is our budget hearing. February 2nd, February 17th, which is a Tuesday, due to the holiday. And then I went through March 2nd.
Wait a minute. Okay, March 2nd.
Thank you, Molly, because you just bought me some time, too.
Let's wait.
March 2nd. I have that as the last one we have scheduled.
And then
so-
I went through March, so March 16th.
Okay, hold on, I gotta take that out. Let's see, March 16th, yeah,
And March 30th.
okay.
For folks watching at home, deliberative session will be held on January 31st at the high school at 9 a.m. And the election will be held March 10th.
Actually, I have one more date.
Okay.
The Energy Committee's window dressers program, the inserts for stopping drafts and keeping your home warmer, is having its event January 15th to the 22nd. We're still looking for volunteers, and there will be good training, and in fact, the assembly is easy.
Okay.
So please come anytime. There are people who will be there to show you what to do. And it was so popular that we got more than last year's number of clients, and
Wonderful.
are already taking orders for 2027. You can
Fantastic.
find the information, actually, it's on the homepage of the website. It's one of the quick links.
Okay. Terrific. Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else? Okay, with that, I would look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We stand adjourned. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay